Hi, Cristina Perez here with Verdicts in Vogue. And today I have the great honor of hanging out and introducing you to a dear friend, Rachel Frazier Johnson with Rachel Frazier Johnson Law.
Thank you.
Say hello to everyone.
Hi, how are you?
So, to start, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, where do you want me to start?
Wherever you want, girl.
All right, I'll give an overview.
Sure.
I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. I have two younger brothers that both live in Minneapolis. I have two daughters, 34 and 26, and I have grandchildren.
How old are your grandkids?
The oldest ones are 9. Oh, no, they'll be 9 on July 3rd.
Oh, I would never believe that. You look good.
Bless you. You're very kind. You're very kind.
So I was telling Sophia and Hope, and for those who are listening, Sophia and Hope are like my right hand people. They do everything. And we happened to be at an event this past weekend, and they saw this beautiful woman dancing. And when they learned that beautiful woman dancing was you who was going to be here today, they were so excited to meet you.
Oh, that's very kind.
Isn't that good? Did you
sweet.
know how to do that dance before? That band dance?
Oh yeah, boots on the ground.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
So you came in knowing boots on the ground.
I know it, but Jen Diaz taught it a little bit differently, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple different ways to do it, and so I did it her way. So I learned her way that day.
Now, there was a little bit of talk as to why you had a special fan. So for those who don't know Boots on the Ground, I didn't know that was the name of the dance. Boots on the Ground is a dance that has kind of gone viral where you're dancing with a fan. In Spanish is un abanico, and you open it up and you swing it around. And at this party that we went to, that was thrown by a good mutual friend of ours, Lori Valdez with Stand Up MRI, she had Jen Diaz, who's another attorney and also a dancer, who showed all of the women how to do this dance.
Yes, right? She did. And
the talk was, why did you have a special fan? Did you come with that fan?
I drive around with the fan. The fan is in my trunk of my car.
That fan was in your trunk?
Yes. And I have two. Okay. One is green. It was gifted to me by a dear friend. The other one is black and comes in its own little case with red accents. And it kind of has like a little Oriental or Mexican flair, if you will, because it has these beautiful red flowers on it. And I keep it in my car. Let me explain why.
Please, because it was perfect for that thing. And people thought that either you had that plan to have that fan, they told you ahead of time that we were doing that song, or they didn't understand how you had that special fan because it was gorgeous. And it went with your outfit.
Oh, it matched?
It did.
I didn't even think. Oh, that's right. Because it was the black one.
Yep.
You're right. Oh, I didn't even think of that. So I keep it in my trunk of my car because I go to a line dancing class every week. Every Tuesday, that's my cardio.
Say 2 hours more. Where?
Line dancing at the American Legion on 16th Street and Broadway.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you use that fan during your dance class.
You got it. But I also go to 2 fitness classes at EOS during the week.
Okay.
And when I'm at EOS, my instructor incorporates line dancing into our cardio and our dance.
Oh, I may tag along one day because I don't know how to line dance. I want to. I actually just bought my first pair of cowboy boots because, real cowboy boots because Lori had helped. I had kind of fake cowboy boots that had a heel that don't count. These are like real cowboy boots that I bought, and I want to try to use them somewhere. I just don't really have many places to go. But now that I know you line dance,
I line dance.
Me and my boots are coming with.
But our line dance is different.
Why?
Oh, see?
Tell me.
You don't have to have cowboy boots. So you can line dance in your tennis shoes. You can line dance in whatever you want to wear. So some people do have cowboy boots they line dance in. Mm-hmm. And then for instance, I line dance in tennis.
Really?
I know it's an abomination.
No. But I just wanted I wanted the whole look. Like I wanted the whole experience of line dancing in cowboy boots. I'm not ready for a hat yet, but I'm starting slow.
Okay. So some of the ladies that I love it. And I'll tell you some of the ladies who wear their cowboy boots, they wear their hats And then there is this thing you put on your leg that holds your fan. So you're like a Mae West when you pull out your fan.
Whoa, we're getting all Moulin Rouge up in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you have video of this?
No. But it's...
Maybe? No. You don't have to show it today. We can show it after we're off.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't have any video, though. No video. It's just
should we send
right?
Adonis? That could be a good...
That would be a good one.
Yeah, it would.
That would be a good one.
And Adonis, for those who don't know, Adonis is here today, and Adonis does both of our videos, right? Mm-hmm. So he kind of sometimes he follows us around during special events and captures what we do. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I am so excited to know that you do this line dancing. I love it. No wonder you were so captivating on that dance floor last Saturday. You owned it. You know it. Don't play.
No,
you know
and
it.
I'm not even playing. There's a few things about me, and one of the things is I love music, all music. I love dancing. I will dance to anything. I may not know the words, but I will dance.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I say R&B.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, R&B, hip hop.
I like that.
Maybe 60-40 hip hop.
Okay.
40 hip hop.
So this is the question I was going to ask you at the end. So just so that you know, at the end of every show, I do like a rapid fire line of questioning, right? Yay. Of like random questions. But one of the questions that I had for you was, when you're like your entrance song, if you had a choice of having an entrance song, whether it's going into court or just starting your day or just one of those times you need to get pumped up, what song would it be?
Oh, that's like...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I think maybe DJ Khaled.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
That one, there's a little bit of Bringing Sexy Back with Justin Timberlake. I'm just like sitting here. Ooh,
I love these
and I'm sitting
you.
here like I got some Sting rolling through my head right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it depends on the day. How about that?
We should get, because, Lori is the one that she's so good at getting people together.
Mm-hmm. She is.
That's not one of my skills, but she's great at getting people together and making such a good event. Mm-hmm. We should have or suggest to her that at one of her events, she incorporate entrance songs for people as they come in, and everyone gets their entrance song as they come in. Gosh. I bet you her and Sandy would do something like that.
You know what? Yeah.
It's a good idea.
One. You just gave me another one.
Another one.
Coming in hot.
Ooh, I don't know that one.
You don't know that?
But I'll look it up.
I'm about to play it for you.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
No. I have, I can't remember the name of the song but I'll play it here if I can.
What's yours?
So I would use this, and I kind of stole this from a paralegal and friend of mine out of Texas, Rosie Castillo. Her son used to play this song for when he used to walk into his football games. Yes. And when I heard that song, I fell in love with it. And my kids listen to this song. And on top of that, it's my alarm clock. My husband has to wake up to this at 4 a.m. in the morning. He hates it, but I love it. So that's, he deals with me and my crazy when it comes. So this is the song. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. Can you hear that? Oh, so I was just advised right now that there's copyrights that we have to deal with. So I have to turn that off. I'm so sorry.
I know the song though.
Oh, I love it. Especially when it drops, it goes. Do you have to edit that out now?
No, we'll be okay.
Just a few bars of it.
We should know this.
We do.
I know.
But we still were in the moment.
I know.
Wanted to just move forward.
Faux pas. Party foul by me. But okay. So now that we've talked about
I like your song, by the way. It's a good dance song.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when it drops. Well, at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's a shocking wake up where you're like, whoo.
Yes, there you go.
So tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit about yourself as the attorney. So Rachel Frazier Johnson as the attorney. How did you get into law?
I'm not going to say I got into law, but I'm going to say law got into me.
Okay.
It was a very young age. I had said to my family that I wanted to be a lawyer. It came out of the blue. Nobody in my family at that time was an attorney. And I said it, and they waited to see what I was going to do, offered support, and that's what I did. for whatever reason, I saw lawyers as people who were change makers.
Okay.
Lawyers as people who, in making that change, could also change the world and can change the life of individuals, families, and communities.
It's amazing. And how old were you? Do you remember?
I don't remember telling my family. This is just what I've heard
Mhm.
through our oral history. I was told I was between 5 and 7 years old.
Wow. So you were born to be an attorney then.
I believe so.
Yeah. Because you have to, so somehow, somewhere along the line, you always know.
Mhm.
Um, so I used to hold a little McDonald's case. It was
Uh-huh.
it was when McDonald's used like plastic cases for a Happy Meal.
Yes.
And I used to walk around with that like it was a briefcase. I didn't know why,
Ooh.
but I knew what I wanted to do. So things like that kind of, so
Yes.
same experience. I
Yes,
must have
it
been around
is.
the same age. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you knew what you wanted to be. And
Yeah.
it's just amazing to me how, as a kid, you know that and you stand on it and you live in it, you work on it, so that everything
That moment.
that you are, you're just
Mhm.
like, I'm moving towards that goal.
That momentum.
Yeah.
And so did you go straight on from high school to college to law school?
Yes.
Okay.
My law school was interesting, though.
Why?
I had my oldest daughter in my first semester of law school.
Really?
Yeah,
How
I
was
did.
that experience as being a new mom of a little girl in your first year of law school?
It was a lot.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. And I don't think I would change anything. One decision that I did make is that I wanted to continue to be a lawyer and to work on what my goals were, despite having a child. And part of it, at times, I lost some of that law school experience, but I still think I had a positive experience overall in law
Sure.
school. And then I got to tell you this fun fact.
Okay. Fun
My
fact.
husband and my daughter's godfather, they both stepped in. So
Really?
when I was studying for exams and I was studying for law school and later on studying for the bar, these two guys were like Mr. Moms,
Aw,
and they did such a fantastic job with her. It was like she never skipped a beat.
that's so nice.
It was beautiful. Their relationship was beautiful. And her godfather at the time was a professional athlete. So it worked. Like, he was on his off season. Here he was raising this baby. It was the cutest thing
Oh, that's-
ever. And so I will be forever grateful to them for that.
And there's also probably a special bond that was formed that still lasts today because during those formative years, right?
Yes.
Your daughter had the opportunity to have these wonderful men
Mhm.
step up and just be there with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
That's
You got it. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And with law school and the law school experience, everyone's law school experience tends to be different. Whether you are whether a first time student of a first career, or whether you've started on a second career in law school, or whether you're married or not married, everyone's path in law school I think is different, and it's what you make of it
That's
too.
right.
Did you find that being a mom in law school also caused you or helped you become more focused as to what you needed to do because your time
Mhm.
became so valuable?
I agree. It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it did. I still tried to get the social in, and definitely I got it in.
Mhm.
But I was very focused on making sure that at that point, my oldest daughter was taken care of. She had her mom, and really trying to figure out that balance.
Mhm.
I can't tell you I ever perfected it, but definitely it forced me to put family first and then figure out how I can navigate my career around that.
Sure. And how did you find that? And I don't want to say balance because I don't think
Mhm.
it's ever a balance. It's
Mhm.
kind of a wave, if you
Mhm.
will, right? It's a
Mhm.
blending of the two and trying to deal with whichever one takes priority at that moment. Um, so how did you find that or navigate that wave?
Because she was so young in the
Okay.
beginning, I navigated it by making her my priority.
Okay.
So then law school had to be a priority, right? So the way that I did it is I made sure I took care of her once I was able to come home from class, and then spend the evening with her. Soon as she went down for bed, that's when I went back to being a law student.
you had a full 3 years.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Anything you would change?
No. I think it taught me resilience. It taught me the importance of family. It taught me that everybody's experience and everybody's insight is important, because my insight, being in that position, is what makes me the lawyer I am today.
Okay. That's, I mean, it that time speaks for itself. I mean, what it taught you, right? You can see it. What about how you were able to show, I mean, at least to your daughter, that anything is possible?
Yes.
No excuses.
None. Zero.
Right? Because some people
it.
say, well, I'm too busy, or I don't have the time, or I have to work, or and you're like, no, here I am. I am married with a newborn in first semester, first year. We're doing this.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
And you know what was interesting that I wasn't expecting? It impacted the circle around me.
How so?
That some of the women around me said, I have no excuse. I'm watching you do it.
There you go. You lead by example.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. And so that was the beautiful thing. So I saw women who went on and got their masters, their PhDs, and decided to do all these other professional programs because they actually witnessed me doing it and saying, if Rachel can do it, I surely can get this done. I know her, and I know it's not easy, but it can get done.
There you go. And so where did you go to law school?
U of A.
Okay. And after, you know,
bear down.
You know, into ASU, right? It's a good school. No.
Yeah. You guys are beating us right now, for sure.
I think it like switches back and forth. But so after U of A, then what was your next step?
I went to U of A. We're talking undergrad or law school? So law school.
Law school.
So after law school, once I graduated from law school, it's interesting. Like all my law school stuff is interesting. But anyway, once I graduated from law school, it was wonderful. Don't get me wrong. Once I graduated from law school, I became a public defender.
Okay. I did. So just so you know, I do research beforehand. So I make sure that they know my guests, even though we're friends and I know you, but it just things that I may not have picked up. So tell us about your public defenders, because there's pros and cons of being a public defender.
Right.
Before I became an attorney, I was at the county attorney's office and I had a dream of being a prosecutor, but they were in a hiring freeze, which actually happened to be, it worked out very well because my trajectory would have been completely different. So tell us about your time at the public defender's office.
Well, even before I became a public defender, just to put in the PI context, I was working for a PI attorney.
Okay.
So then once I graduated from law school, I became a public defender. I didn't want to be a public defender. So let me be fully transparent with you. My mentor, who is a litigator, she said to me, you will be a public defender. And I argued with her about it.
Really?
You know I did, right?
Well, I mean, you do speak up for yourself. I know this.
There you go. And so I told her I didn't
Which
want
I
to.
love. That's one of the traits I love about you. So
bless you. Bless you. And she said, you will. And I said, but I don't want to be. And she said, you will learn to try a case from start to finish. You will learn to be able to argue anything on the fly, and you will not be afraid of a jury. And I said, you can't make me do this my whole legal career. And she said, that's not what I want.
Sure.
I want you to commit 2 to 3 years to doing it. And I actually committed, I think it was about
6 years.
3 years as a public defender, the other 3 as a legal defender.
And for those who don't know, there's a difference between public defenders and legal defenders. Public defenders tend to deal with certain levels of crime, and they have great experience. And then legal defenders, can you tell us what that entails?
Sure. The legal defender's office handles those cases the public defender's office cannot handle. And usually it's felonies only. It's in appeals, of course, but not any misdemeanors. That's why the legal defender's office exists, is to be basically a conflict office for contract counsel. That's an agency. I shouldn't say counsel, contract agency. So that instead of the public defender's office, once there's conflicts, there's an entire agency that is dedicated to handling cases when there is a conflict.
And with the legal defenders, just like the public defenders, you were, essentially you're thrown into trials and hands-on experience, and you got, it's sink or swim.
It is.
And was that advice given to you by your mentor? Do you mind if I ask who it was?
Yeah, no, of course. Her name's Anita Royal.
And so the advice that Anita Royal gave you, would you now agree with her looking back?
Absolutely.
Would you change that?
No, I wouldn't change it at all. I didn't make much money. I worked long hours. I worked almost every day of the week.
Sure.
But I carried a crazy caseload. But I will tell you, not only did it help me as a lawyer, I think it helped me as a person to see people in a difficult time in their lives and understand that no one is immune. I had clients that were pilots. I had clients that were drug dealers. It just the entire spectrum. Okay. So when you are interfacing with people, there isn't a room for you to be afraid. There isn't room for you to go into the jail and worry about yourself. You're worried about them. You're worried about their case. You're worried about what you could do to get them the result, to hopefully get them out, or at bare minimum, get them a better sentence or whatever the situation is.
And with the legal defenders, because it is a income-based program, their resources are limited. So that's also another complexity that's added to your caseload, right?
It is. It is. But I was astounded by people who make great money, which I would think would make great money, that needed a legal defender and were or public defender and were approved.
Sure. And with the limited resources that those types of offices get, now you're defending people and essentially have their lives.
You do.
Not literally their lives, but you have their freedom on your hands,
that's really
which impacts the rest of their life and their life trajectory. How did you balance that with client empathy and client expectations?
That's a juggling act. It wasn't easy, right? I try to be very transparent with clients. I try to educate clients, talk to them, sometimes even repeat myself, because I want them to really understand what it is that I see as a lawyer and what the law says. Because sometimes in the beginning of a case, people don't hear what you say because they have their own expectations or their own perceptions in their mind. And so it's just a matter of, okay, I'm going to say this, even though I've said it before, let me say it again because I want to make sure we're on the same page. And I do think that's one of the things that clients like about me, because I am totally a keep it real girl, and I'm going to keep it real with them all the way to the end. Because I want them to say, Rachel did not hide any information. Rachel didn't sugarcoat. She told me what it was. And whether it went that direction or not, the bottom line is they knew it was a possibility.
Sure. And now with that trait, which is a trait that not a lot of people have, the don't sugarcoat, I'm going to tell you how it is. And sometimes it may not feel nice hearing it. It's something that a lot of attorneys do not have. We tend to share that trait. How do you deal with those clients who need to have a little bit of sugarcoating or can't handle that truth? Do you modify yourself, or do you just tell them and then work with them afterwards?
I tell them and I work with them afterwards.
Okay.
So if it upsets them, I'm still going to be honest with them, and I'll tell them, I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't mean to hurt you, but I have to be honest with you because I don't want a situation where we get to a place where I haven't been very forthcoming with you.
Sure. And, client expectations are a big deal, whether you are in criminal law or family law or personal injury or bankruptcy, having the ability to manage your client's expectations and doing them 100% clear really determines the client's experience, right? So, and that's something that is learned. I think that's a learned trait through experience. I think younger attorneys tend to be more, want to make the client happy at no matter what, and do a disservice for for their client and this eventually the client experience.
That's what I always am concerned about, is that the client is like, I wish you would have told me sooner and then I could have prepared myself, versus you not telling me at all, right? Like you not telling me at all. I wish you would have told me sooner, versus me giving complete information and they go, whew, we dodged that bullet, Rachel. It didn't turn out the way it could have. Yay. But I'm glad you shared that with me because you prepared me.
Sure. And I always say, I'm going to prepare you for the worst with the expectations of the best.
Yes.
Right. So I always say, prepare you for the worst with the expectations of the best, because if the worst happens, at least you know, and you were prepared for that. And if it doesn't happen, then we ended up with the best outcomes that we wanted to get.
That's it.
So
exactly.
So moving forward from the legal defenders, and how did you go into your private practice? Because now you own your own firm. You've been practicing for 25 years.
Oh, longer, girl.
Really?
Yeah, 1997.
So
I was
then,
sworn in. So this year is 28 years in July.
So Rachel Frazier Johnson Law has been open for 25 years.
Rachel Frazier Johnson Law has had a few different permeations, if you will.
Sure.
But no, it hasn't been 25 years. So my legal career has been 28. The firm under Rachel Frazier Johnson Law opened in 2012. I keep wanting to say 2002, but it's not.
So then you've been practicing for 28 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, almost July.
Okay. So it wasn't far off. I thought I was like, I'm like, oh, my math. Okay. So 28 years. And then Rachel Frazier Johnson Law opened around 2012. And how did you get into private practice? Because when you look at the difference between working as a public defender or in the prosecutor's office and then working on your own, we're talking about a whole other layer of complexity, but also freedoms.
Right.
So how did you get there?
It is. Super long story. Okay. Glad I did it.
Okay.
Immediately before I opened my practice, I had cancer. I was diagnosed with cancer. And so I went through my cancer treatments. And once I got better, the practice opened. That was for me like the final straw. I was like, I'm out here running up and down the street for all these other people, doing all of this work. I need to do this on my terms for me. So my terms being how I want to communicate with the clients, how I would like to do the work, what is the overall tone I want the practice to have. I was able to do that.
So without, naming names, because I know your medical history, and you were working for another firm that was private during the time of your cancer diagnosis. Okay, so where were you?
I was at the AG's office.
AG's office.
So what happened is I opened up the firm.
Sure.
And when I opened up the firm, the predecessor to Rachel Frazier Johnson Law, which was still just me, when I opened that practice, I was like, yay. And I had just started getting clients. And I had one of my law school classmates call and say, I would really appreciate it if you would work with me. And I said, I literally just opened my own practice. And she said, I need you to commit at least 2 years, but you're one of the few lawyers I know that has a diversity of civil litigation as well as criminal experience, criminal defense experience. And she was like, I need you to help my agency, my law firm, advise an agency on a plethora of issues and for you to oversee the attorneys. That's what happened right before my cancer diagnosis. So I was working at the AG's office, helping them in a leadership role as a managing attorney to advise one of their client agencies.
Understood. I always thought that agency was like a contractor to the AG, so it was private. That makes sense. So then you learned about your cancer diagnosis, and while going through that, now you're at this point, you're a mom of 2, and you learn about this diagnosis. You have a full book of cases on your plate. How, if you remember, and I'm sure. What was the first thing that came to your mind at that point, learning of your cancer diagnosis?
We got to beat it.
Did that put everything in perspective to you as far as work and family?
If it wasn't already.
If it wasn't already, right? Because sometimes it's like you stop and you think, And you, I mean, we all love our families and we love our work, and it's like that wave that we go through. But then something comes up, like a medical scare, and then all of a sudden it's like, what is more important? Like at that point, if something were to happen to you, I mean, it's a sad thing to say, but your employer would essentially find your replacement.
You got it.
Right?
That's it.
Your family has no replacement.
You got it.
So then,
trust me, that was at the forefront.
Yeah.
So I had just taken some time to do like what was supposed to be a quick medical procedure. So it was when they were doing that medical procedure, it was a surgery. When they were doing the surgery, they discovered the cancer. I never popped up in any of my testing as having cancer. And so when they discovered it, it's nothing but God's grace, right? So they discovered it, and my doctor at Mayo, because that's just where I've had my medical care, my doctor at Mayo was like, Rachel, we don't know what this is, but it doesn't look good to me. I'm concerned. And so he did some testing, and then it still came back as inconclusive. And then he sent it over to Rochester in Minnesota, and Rochester came back that it was sarcoma. And so not everybody has that second chance with sarcoma.
And you beat it.
Yes.
And then you went on to open your practice.
Yes.
And with the fighting spirit, you did.
You got it, girl.
And you went on to do, I know that you do entertainment law. That's how I first met you. When I was like, when I first met you, you was just, you're just so poised. And I'm like, ooh, who's that?
So
and so you did that. I knew you did personal injury, and I know that you had some family law as well.
Yes.
But I knew you as an entertainment lawyer and a personal injury attorney. So you've been doing that now since 2012.
You got it.
Right?
I love my entertainment.
Yeah.
The thing with entertainment law, and I'm going to say this and then we don't have to stay on it. My entertainment clients are my long-term, I feel kind of like, quote, lifelong clients.
Sure.
They are clients, whether you got a contract, a criminal issue, a tax issue, their spouse has an issue, their kid has an issue. You are their trusted legal person.
Sure.
And so I have been placed in that role, and I appreciate it. I love it. I get to go to super cool parties, and I go to wonderful openings and things of that nature. But I'll tell you, as I've gotten older, those things just don't matter as much.
The parties, I know.
Right. But it's the relationships that you built, and those people can call you and they could talk to you, and they know it's not going to end up in the media. It's not going to end up in an article or, on social media or wherever. It's just a safe space for them. And I have had I've had a variety of clients, and I just sit here and chuckle inside because some of them, the way I've gotten them has just been so random.
Sure.
And, but I'm very grateful to be in that position and to be trusted by many.
So you also have, which I did not know about you until I was preparing for today, that you also play an active role in the arts.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Wherever you'd like to start.
Yeah. So one thing I did as my kids were starting to get older, I started thinking about, what is it that Rachel enjoys? I don't think sometimes as moms we do that because we are so focused on our families and our kids and what they need to do or want to do and their education and just making sure we're there for them. So I started thinking about, what is it that I like? And I said, well, I like art. So I'm going to go volunteer at the museum. So I went and volunteered at the Phoenix Art Museum, and I had a ball doing it. I just loved it.
What did you do at the museum when you volunteered?
I just stood in different exhibits and helped people understand the exhibit if I knew a little bit. I wasn't a docent or anything like that. And then I would tell them to stay away from the art. Touch the art.
Don't, like that chair that person sat on and broke. Did you see that?
No.
I can't remember. It was a Swarovski crystal chair that was done. And there's a video of a person like pretending to sit. He trips, he falls, and he breaks the chair.
Oh my gosh. No. See, that's the reason why they have volunteers.
when I saw him sit on it hard. But so, okay, so what you use the word docent. Tell us what that means.
A docent is somebody who is very knowledgeable in the arts. They're trained. There's an entire process for you to become a docent. Every museum has them. A docent is the person that may take you around for a tour. And if there's a Van Gogh exhibit, they'll tell you all these interesting facts about Van Gogh. They are usually somebody that, even if they weren't formally trained with their school education, they have received some level of training that puts them in that position and for the museum to recognize them as a docent.
Understood. Okay, thank you. And so then you started, volunteering at the museum and with different exhibits. And then how did you get more involved? Because my understanding is you now sit on some boards. And you've all
not as much anymore, just as of recent. But yes, you're absolutely correct. So I volunteered. I loved it. And then I was invited to serve on the Women's Metropolitan Arts Council, which at the time was a support organization for the Phoenix Art Museum. So what that means is we did fundraisers and raised money for the museum. Okay. So I was on their board. I loved that, met more women. It really just touched me in a way that was so different than law. And it allowed me to really work on, when I say creative, not that I was ever creating anything, but to enjoy art that was created by others. And so I did that for a long time, served on that board. Once I left the Women's Metropolitan Arts Council and stopped volunteering and serving at the museum, I then started on the City of Phoenix Arts and Culture Commission. And I was on that commission for a while. I served as the chair for public art.
Wow.
And what a lot of people don't know is during my tenure as the chair for public art is when Terminal 3 in the airport was improved. So when you notice the terrazzo flooring and all of those changes in Terminal 3, as well as the garden outside, that's sort of a sculpture garden, if you will, all of those things were done under my term as chair. And I'll tell you, even when Terminal 2 closed, I was still the chair then. I really enjoyed it because I felt like I was able to use my leadership skills, but I was also able to still be a lawyer in my daytime or life.
Use your day job.
And then my nighttime job was here with the arts for the City of Phoenix. And I really enjoyed it. And so I served as the chair for public arts, later the chair for grants, and then the vice chair for the Arts and Culture Commission. And then I just said, guys, we got to let somebody new come on board, right? Yeah. And let somebody else with a fresh perspective. And that's exactly what happened. I termed out, I left, and then I was appointed to the Arizona Commission on the Arts. And I really enjoyed that as well.
So isn't that amazing? You started by volunteering at a museum. Isn't that, when you look at that, you started by volunteering at a museum and then you were appointed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the lesson there is be careful what you put your time into, right? Because this could evolve into something much bigger.
But it's also a great lesson that, look, all you have to do is start. Little steps, start. Even if it's just telling people to stay away from the exhibits, you can end up being appointed by a governor to oversee this committee. I mean, that's amazing. That's like an amazing feat. And then you also went on to co-produce two theater plays. Three. I know about Letters of Zora, Dreaming of Harlem, which I'm super interested to know about because I grew up in New York, and I don't know about the third one.
The third one is Someone to Watch Over Me.
And now one of them won an award, correct?
It was Letters from Zora. So Letters from Zora is about the life of Zora Neale Hurston, who is a literary giant. She's an African-American woman. She was part of the Harlem Renaissance. She wasn't born in, but she lived a large part of her life, her professional life, and a lot of her creativity came while she was in Harlem. And so she was in that group, if you will, Langston Hughes, August Wilson. That was her group. And all at the same time, you had Malcolm X. I mean, it was just a dynamic period. And Letters from Zora was actually written by one of my dearest friends, Gabrielle Pina, who is a published author. And so when she wrote it, I didn't originally start as a producer. I started in a different capacity. And then our lead talent in the production says, I'm sorry, Rachel, but in Hollywood, you're a producer. And so you will have producer credit. And that was the beginning of getting producer credit on that production as well as others.
That is, I mean, so that, I mean, it's just amazing to hear how you were able to take this energy and put into something that you're passionate about. And then at the same time, you know, be passionate about your family and then your career. And that, I mean, it's like you need that outlet, right? Was that your outlet to be able to just be creative and put your time into something for yourself?
It is.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing is, it was the outlet. It was the opportunity to be creative, but it was also being able to see things that other people wouldn't because of your legal training and experience. So you could see potential issues come up and alert the team, the production team, before it became something, you know, much more serious. But I'll tell you, it being my outlet was the best ever. I have been able to work with some really amazing people in Hollywood in all 3 of those productions. And I'll tell you, it's nothing like doing a live performance. There's just no room for error.
Sure.
And one thing I didn't share with Letters from Zora, it is an hour and a half, one woman play.
Oh,
yeah.
I got to watch that.
Yeah.
I got to watch that.
It's really beautiful. And that's the one we were nominated for 2 NAACP Theater Awards, and we won 1. So that was
congratulations.
That's
such an honor. Now, you mentioned, I know before we started, we kind of were talking about different things, and we mentioned, you know, now that you brought up the NAACP, this brings me back to our conversation that we had off camera. Tell us, I mean, you're a Black woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. All your life. You're a lawyer and a mother and someone who loves the arts. Tell us about your experience briefly. I mean, what being a Black woman in the law as today?
It's
a hard question.
It's a tough question.
I know.
It's a tough question. I love it. And then there's some moments that I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, I'm different. I see. Okay. So you're treating me differently because I look differently than you. And so those are those reality moments. But I will tell you, I love what I do. And I love the impact I'm able to make. And one thing we haven't talked about is that I travel a lot internationally. And that helps me, I think, also understand those issues better. Because when I travel, sometimes I run into issues because I'm a Black woman. Sometimes I run into issues because I'm a woman. Sure. Sometimes I run into issues because of my religious affiliation. So there's a lot of different reasons why I'm perceived as different.
Sure.
But I do look at traveling as my other outlet, if I had to pick one next to the arts. And that outlet helps me understand the world we live in and understand that when somebody here is like, I'm going to treat her, you know, differently, or I don't think she has as much experience than me, or, you know, she looks young and I'm going to be dismissive of her. I want them to underestimate me.
And that's the word that we use, underestimated. Have you ever walked in the room and were immediately underestimated because of who you are?
Yeah, it happens regularly.
It happened to me this week.
Yeah, there you go.
It happened to me this week with and I should rewind. So my dad is from Spain and he is a traditional man. And one day I was talking to him about being a woman and a lawyer and all of these issues that I face. And he said to me, he was like, come on now. It's 2024. This was last year when he said it. He goes, it's 2024. I understand if you were talking about 50 years ago, but you're telling me you still have issues. And I go, Papi, I go, are you kidding? I go, every day there's something, even if it's like a microaggression.
You got it.
I mean, it's not as blatant as it was, you know, I mean, but it's still there. And so this week, it was a funny reminder because I come into the office. It was super early. We had someone show up early. It was about 7 a.m. I was walking around. Someone opens the door and it was an older gentleman. Probably, I mean, I would say older, probably in his 80s. And he was asking for one of the attorneys that works for us. And he said, he was reminiscing about Glendale and Perez being with another firm, which I used to have an old partner. And then he was talking about, he was like, and where is that Perez? He's talking to me the whole time. I showed him the backyard. I showed him because we have like a really large property. And he was like, oh, I remember that I was here X amount of years ago. It was owned by another attorney and we've redone the whole place. And so he's like, and where is that Perez? I don't think I've ever met him. I'm like, I go, you're me. That's me.
Yeah.
And he goes, you're Perez? I said, yes, sir. He goes, the Perez that owns this? I said, yes, sir. And he goes, well, I'll be. I think his exact words, well, I'll be darned. That's exactly what his words were. Because I was, I go, yes, sir. I go, nice to meet you, Cristina Perez.
You got it.
And
you got it.
And he did. I mean, I don't think he didn't mean it any harm, but he was just surprised, right? And so underestimated, and that was but
that's a good example though, because it's like you, a woman, own a law firm. So his brain was just swirling, probably like I never imagined.
Well, I think so because he saw the building, he saw what all the improvements that we've done. He's like that it's like 3 lots. He was trying to determine how large the space was. And so then when he realized that I wasn't like a paralegal showing him around, I was just talking to him because he was like, really?
That's it.
And things like that happen all the time.
It does. And sometimes you get things that in that situation, it was an I'll be darned.
Yeah.
And then sometimes in other situations, it's I don't know this lawyer, Rachel, so she can't know what she's doing if I don't know her.
Sure. And now, have you ever been, I mean, you said yes, but give me an example of when you've been underestimated and how you managed to overcome that underestimation.
Just think, I've got a few of them.
Sure. Give me the best one that makes you feel good to this day. Because there's always those days when you're like, oh, I got them.
Yeah. This one was a recent one. I had opposing counsel and I were having some disagreements. And I got a sense that opposing counsel thought I was somebody different than who they thought I was. And so, or who actually I am, I should say. And so we get into court and the judge goes, hi, Ms. Johnson. And I said, hi, Judge, how are you? And the judge says, well. And so then we jump on the record on the case. And then the judge says, it's always a pleasure to work with Ms. Johnson on cases. And opposing counsel, it's great to work with you as well. So I have really high expectations that this matter will be resolved and that you will both be just like the consummate professionals and everything will be well. So I trust both of you. And I think that was one of those moments where you're just like mic drop because that particular attorney did not know me. And that attorney thought, I guess, that I don't appear in court regularly. And I actually do. And so
it's not a big deal. And it's a form of validation. It's a subtle validation where the judge knows you by name or says, oh, I recognize you from so-and-so case, right? And then you notice at that point, the temperature of the room changes.
It sure does.
And the way that counsel treats you changes as well.
Exactly. It does. Right? It absolutely does.
Yeah. It's a good feeling too.
It really is a good feeling.
Yeah.
And I just had it a few days ago as entirely separate situation. And counsel was just horrible, very not only dismissive, but unprofessional and disparaging at times. And I just had to figure out, how do I stay on the high road for the sake of my client, stay on the high road, do what I need to, litigate this matter with clean hands, like just really do my job and not allow ego to get in front of me.
Sure.
And I think counsel underestimated me when we went in court.
And so what would you tell a younger attorney or a female attorney who may have that situation coming up where they feel they're being underestimated? How would you recommend that they address that or not address it?
One thing I did is I put in writing with the opposing counsel what my position was, because I wanted it to be clear in case there was a narrative that was put in front of the court. That really demonstrated that me and, of course, my client were being reasonable. But I would say there were so many times that I wanted to let in on him in writing, and I just had to stop and breathe and then prepare the written email response, again, to document what's actually happening. And I made myself available to talk civilly regarding the case to see if we were able to reach anything outside of court. But I also made it clear that I was prepared to go to the court and let the court make that final decision. And so I was pretty much creating boundaries with him. But at the same time, I felt like if I had let into him the way that my ego really wanted to, it would have been a disservice to my client. Sure. It would have been a disservice to my reputation. It would have been a disservice for anybody who decided to hire me in the future, because then that narrative would be, oh, Rachel can't control herself. She's a victim. She's this, she's that. Sure. So I never made it about me, always made it about the client. And I think next time we may have a different way in which we engage with each other. The professional relationship, I think he'll treat me a little bit different. Sure. Because I think he realizes I'm not here for the games, but I know you have a job to do and I have one as well. Yeah. And our job is to advocate for our clients and do our best that we can on behalf of our clients. But that doesn't give you a right to be disrespectful to me, nor I to you.
Sure. And another thing that you mentioned, and I want to stress, is always anticipate that whatever you put on paper or typed will show up in front of the judge.
It sure will. I do it all the time. My audience always, is the judge, not ever the opposing
even
party.
If it's especially if it's to the opposing party, because there are some people that will just throw that right up there in a motion, attach it to a 26D and off and away. So,
you're right.
All right, we are here nearing our end, and I want to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's do this. All right. We already talked about your courtroom walk-on song. What's your courtroom superpower? Girl. What's your superpower?
I like juries.
Juries?
Ooh, I love juries.
All right.
I do. I think I can relate. Well, depending, right? It all depends on the case and who's on the jury. But I really enjoy connecting with the jury.
Okay. Guilty pleasure TV show. Ooh, that says a lot about us.
Okay, I got two.
Okay, shoot.
Law and Order, total law geek, right?
Which one? Which Law and Order? Because there's multiple.
There was the original. Now it's SVU because that's all that's left. Oh no, they have
another one. It's not that good.
The one about the mob. No, and the other one. You ready?
Yes.
Ancient Aliens.
I don't know
the
which
History Channel.
I don't know.
All about aliens. All about aliens and history and aliens. It's. I'm telling you, sorry, but that's what I watched.
I didn't expect that one. Biggest fashion faux pas you've ever committed? We were talking about this one yesterday. I'll tell you mine. I grew up in New York during the era that door knockers, like big earring door knockers with the names were on them. Yeah. And I used to think those were like popping. I used to wear those.
Popping. I got some at home. What are you
with the big
about?
Ones and the triangles?
Yes. And I think mine says queen or something instead. What are you talking about? I have
I-
some of those.
Well, I also used to wear them with like the extension braids in, but that's something. But and then they were like, you can't. There were girls who were like, you can't say that because people will think you're culturally appropriating. And I'm like, whoa! I grew up in that kind of neighborhood that was like,
I'm with you.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I've had some. I can't think of one. I know.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, so now I feel like I don't have any because you just said that they're still in. So there you go. They're still in style.
How about I rock mine and you rock yours
I
one
don't
day?
have them anymore, but I'm gonna go buy some.
You got to get them.
If
They were.
if you keep one, if you can only keep one, heels, lashes, or coffee.
Heels.
That was mine. What's your spirit animal?
Panther.
Ooh, we're so much alike. I love it. One app you cannot live without, professionally or personally.
Maps. I've always got somewhere to go. Like I don't know. Maps. And then my Duolingo would be second.
That is the best. All right, last question. What is one win, big or small, that still makes you emotional?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be
And
huge.
I'm a crier, girl. You can't be doing that.
You gotta end it right.
Okay. So, like, does it have to be personal injury or does it matter?
Anything, any small win.
my
It doesn't even have
gosh.
to be like a huge case. It can just be a win that you consider a win, either big or small, that still gets your emotion.
There's a few. In personal injury, there's a few in particular because people were legitimately injured. I'm gonna talk about one because she just reached out to me the other day. She had an allergic reaction to some pineapple, and her airwaves closed up. She couldn't breathe. They called the paramedics. The paramedic, in trying to open her airways, cut her carotid artery.
Ooh.
And it was horrible. She was in a coma for 13 days.
Wow.
So her family called me. I represented her in the case. She's also a very dear friend of mine. I think even more so after this case. But to watch her heal and to see her be financially compensated and how it truly changed her life and that of her family. She has done some amazing things with the money that she got from her settlement. She is a pastor now. She has her own church,
Amen.
a beautiful church. I'm just super proud of her. And every once in a while, she'll have situations that'll happen. She'll faint or something because she had such a long time where she had lost oxygen. They didn't think she was going to live. But she's doing well. She looks beautiful. She's an international minister in addition to having a church here in Arizona. So that for me, it was a win that would not have been possible. I actually co-counseled that with attorney Shannon Clark.
Okay.
Yes, of Gallagher and
He's
Kennedy.
great.
He really is.
He's amazing.
And he had the same level of empathy that I had. He worked really closely with me. I worked closely with him. And I just think it was a great partnership. And I have nothing but wonderful things to say about him. So he made that win possible as well. But what counts is what the client feels. And she feels she was heard. She says, I was seen. And I know you guys did the best job possible for me.
And what she went on to do,
Exactly.
which is, I mean, that is in itself just a feat.
You
right?
got it. Exactly.
So
and she invites me to everything she has at her church, and I try to make it because, I mean, she's just so proud of where she is. And she knows that here she was in this coma for 13 days, and the doctors told her she would not survive, or told her family she would not survive it. And here she did. She survived it, and she has gone on to do great things. So.
That is a blessing.
It is.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for being here. Until next time.